What's going on, guys? Bruce Matson here, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and it's Mock Draft Friday. Dropping you another one today. We're pumping these out more as we get closer to draft so you get an idea of the market for a rookie drafts for your Dynasty Fantasy Football leagues. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button because more's coming at you. I got more player profiles on the way, along with covering some other people's NFL mock drafts and everything else to get you ready for your rookie drafts. So you can do the best you can do so you're up and you're ready to go. But today we're doing a 4-round Superflex rookie mock draft. I'm going to do this in a different format. So let me know in the comments if you like this or if you want me to switch it up. But I feel like we needed some variety. I'm going to do this a little different. So you be on the lookout for that. With that being said, let's hit that mock draft. It's mock draft time. We're here to start off round one. And what I'm going to do here is just go over the players real quick and then go over the whole round all together. So round one, here we go. At the 101 spot, these guys drafted Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State. At 102, they drafted Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty. At the 103 spot here, they drafted Kenneth Walker, running back from Michigan State. At the 104 spot, Treylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas, comes off the board. At 105 here, they selected Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. At the 106 spot, they drafted Matt Corral, quarterback from Ole Miss. 107, they selected Drake London, wide receiver from USC. At 108, they drafted Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State. At 109, Isaiah Spiller, running back from Texas A&M. At 110, Sam Howell, quarterback from North Carolina. And at 111, Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pitt. And at 112, George Pickens, wide receiver from Georgia. That's it for the first round. Here is what I see from this draft. From the 101, the 102 spot, it's usually Breece Hall or Malik Willis, depending on your draft. More often than not, surprisingly, compared to previous years, Breece Hall is the 101 in Superflex and 1 QB leagues. Some leagues will have Malik Willis, but right now, it's the Breece Hall show in a lot of these mock drafts, at least the ones I'm in. Kenneth Walker drafted at 103. I'm not surprised at that. I'm not surprised of him getting selected this high in rookie drafts. I feel like once we see where he goes in the actual NFL draft, this is highly likely to happen. Top 5 easy, 103 very possible, maybe 102. There's going to be a love train if he goes in the right spot. 104, this is my pick, and I'm going to have my picks in yellow. I drafted Treylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas. I feel like there's a lot of upside in his game. He's a bigger wide receiver, can get you that yak, and I like him. I feel like he's going to be a first-round talent, and I'm not ignoring that. I also like the other wide receivers in the first round. I feel like George Pickens at 112, he's going to be going there a lot. I feel like his value is going to go up. And we got another value that's going to be in the second round that I'm going to talk about. I just noticed that Isaiah Spiller is falling in rookie drafts right now. I've seen this in a few mock drafts. You've seen it in some of these videos. Here he goes at 109, where prior he was a top 5 guy, locked in the 3 or 4 range. Here, 109, we're seeing him fall to this area more often than not. We're getting quarterbacks in this draft go in the first round, but not super high. It seems more realistic. Malik Willis, 102 range, but with the market at quarterback here being very suspect, we got Matt Corral at 106, Kenny Pickett 111, Sam Howell 110, and that's fine. Those are pretty decent values. I like the back-end quarterbacks, and I can understand shooting your shot on Malik Willis. Let me know in the comments what you think about round one, and we're going to move on to the second round here. And in the second round, the first player off the board is Jamison Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. At the 202 spot is Jahan Dotson, Penn State. 203, wide receiver Christian Watson from North Dakota State. 204, David Bell, wide receiver from Purdue. 205, quarterback Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. 206, James Cook, running back from Georgia. 207, running back Rachaad White, Arizona State. 208, Zamir White, running back from Georgia. 209, Sky Moore, wide receiver from Western Michigan. 210, Trey McBride, Tight end from Colorado State, and at 211, John Mechie, wide receiver from Alabama, and at 212, running back Kyren Williams from Notre Dame. And just looking at the landscape of this round, we got Jameson Williams out of value at the 201 spot. And I can tell you this, from doing all these mock drafts that I've done, there are times where you'll catch a wide receiver out of value at 201. It just happens, especially in Superflex. You'll catch a Jameson Williams, maybe a George Pickens or something like that. But 201, sometimes you'll get a sneaky value. Sometimes 201 is worth a first rounder, depending on the mocks or the draft you're in. Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson, David Bell. You're looking at the last of the Mohicans of those top wide receivers. Christian Watson's getting some first-round buzz. I don't know if I 100% agree with that or not. Same with Jahan Dotson. He's more situationally dependent. I drafted David Bell. I got him listed here in yellow. That was my pick here, my guy. And I'm drafting him till the NFL says don't. And I feel like this is a good value at 204, considering he was a top-tier Devy aspect for like the last year and a half. We also see some of the speculative running back assets fall in this draft. In the round 2, James Cook, Rachaad White, Zamir White, and Kyren Williams sneaks into the back half here. And honestly, pick your poison. I feel like Zamir White is a big value. I feel like he's going to get draft capital. And in this draft where the running backs aren't that good, this is not a good running back class, draft capital is going to matter because it just at least gives us an indication of opportunity. Rachaad White's another player you're just going to have to watch in the draft because there's indicators from big draft media that he could be slipping in the NFL draft. NFL teams, for some reason, are not too keen on him, but that could be just rumors. He could be a day 2 guy just like Zamir White's more likely to be. But Zamir White could also be a faller. James Cook's got some PPR prowess. Catches the ball in the backfield, has some burst. Desmond Ridder, a quarterback at 205 who can get you some rushing production, is something I'm always interested in. He is starting to get first-round buzz. So I think going forward, we're going to see him selected in the first round of some of these mocks, especially in Superflex. And I feel like he's going to be pushing more to that 201 range in mock drafts. Expect that boost to come up. I feel like there's a chance we could see him in the first round of Superflex mocks or drafts here soon, especially if he gets the draft capital. It looks like he's going to get good opportunity, and maybe if he's paired with a good wide receiver unit. And that's the market. I'm reading the market. So whether you feel that way or not, you don't have to put your money or your chips in that part of the market. You can just go somewhere else. That's the beauty of this. But speculating the market, I feel like there's going to be a riser here with Desmond Ridder. And whether you buy it or not, the price is probably going up. Let's move on to round 3. Let's see what we got here. Round 3 at the 301 spot, Brian Robinson from Alabama, running back. 302, another running back, Pierre Strong, South Dakota State. At 303, Carson Strong, quarterback from Nevada. 304, wide receiver Justin Ross comes off the board. 305, wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson from Kentucky comes off the board. 306, Greg Dulcich, tight end from UCLA. 307, Tyler Algier, running back from BYU. 308, Tyron Davis-Price from LSU, the running back. 309, Alec Pierce, wide receiver from Cincy. 310, Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver from South Alabama. 311, Calvin Austin, wide receiver from Memphis. 312, Jerome Ford, running back from Cincinnati. So for round 3, from what I'm going to say here is we got some values here and a lot of speculative running back plays. And we had some fallers at the wide receiver spot. I drafted Justin Ross. I was not going to let him fall any farther than that. That was my selection here. And the same thing as what I said with David Bell is I'm going to continue to buy the dips until the NFL tells me not to. And with Justin Ross, even if the NFL tells me not to, the dips are just going to keep going lower, and I'll just pay that low dip point. If someone wants to pay more, I'll let them, but I'm still going to try and get Justin Ross on my teams. Carson Strong here in the early 3rd round is a tremendous value for Superflex. For a quarterback that you can get in the 3rd round that's going to get decent draft capital, he's probably just going to be a backup for the majority of his career. But honestly, he's going to get the opportunity to start sometime down the line, and that value is good considering that you know you're going to get an asset that you can play off with somewhere down the line in his career. You could start him, you could trade him, but usually when fantasy guys draft quarterbacks, lately, these last few years, the guys they don't like are the ones you want to buy. Going back to the running backs, we have some interesting speculative assets. Brian Robinson, Pierre Strong, Tyler Algier, Jerome Ford, maybe someone else that I missed. But all in all, these are speculative running back assets that could go anywhere in the draft. Draft capital is going to matter. It does for running backs. It matters a lot, especially for player values for short-term and long-term for these guys, because it just means that there's potential opportunity. And one could fall, one could get overdrafted, but really we're just shooting our shots here at these running backs, seeing what happens. We're just throwing them against the wall, and we're seeing who sticks. With that being said, let me know who you like here in round 3. What do you think about that Justin Ross pick of mine? That is too big of a fall for him. Should have been in the second round, but I'm going to snatch that up every day. Let's go to round 4 and take a look here. At the 401 spot, we drafted Tyler Batty, running back from Missouri. 402, wide receiver Khalil Shakir, wide receiver from Boise State. 403, running back Damian Pierce from Florida. 404, running back Abram Smith from Baylor. 405, running back Tyler Goodson from Iowa. 406, Donovan Knight, running back from North Carolina State. 407, Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina, the tight end. 408, Bailey Zapp, quarterback from Western Kentucky. 409, Derek King, quarterback from Miami. 410, Kevin Harris, running back from South Carolina. 411, Kevin Austin, wide receiver from Notre Dame. 412, Hassan Haskins, running back from Michigan. Round 4, I feel like this is the Picasso of rounds where really you're an artist and you're just trying to throw paint at the canvas and hopefully you hit some upside here. For me, on my pick, I went with Abram Smith, running back with some production, decent size, adjusted athlete, might go into a good situation, back end of the roster guy, could work his way up the depth chart. But again, I can say that about all these running backs here. I can say that about Tyler Batty, and catch the ball in the backfield. Damian Pierce, good showing at the Senior Bowl, good contact balance. Tyler Goodson, productive at Iowa, showed some good things on tape, and did well at the Combine. Kevin Harris is a banger, friend of the show. Hassan Haskins is another banger. Any of these guys could get drafted higher than expected, and their cost, their value can go through the roof. A lot of these guys, or a few of these guys, could be UDFAs. I like Khalil Shakir here, wide receiver from Boise State. I think this is a good value for him in the 4th round. I think he should be more in the 3rd here. I think he fell a little too far. Derek King, quarterback from Miami. Interesting selection. It is Superflex. I don't know where he's going to go in the draft. I feel like he's going to be very low, maybe UDFA, but had a very interesting career at Houston and Miami. I am kind of intrigued. I am like kind of a small fan of his. I always liked watching him play. If anything, you get a guy you want to watch play in the 4th round and see if they hit, some guy you can root for. Maybe you want to throw your 4th rounder away like that. Bailey Zapp was very productive at Kentucky, quarterback asset. If he exceeds expectations, you're going to get a massive return on investment. That's the big thing about getting these scab quarterbacks 4th round, is that maybe if they pull a Tony Romo on you, maybe if they just get an opportunity where they're starting for 6 weeks and you can trade him for a second or something like that, you got a good ROI. And maybe that happens. And this is the time of the draft where you see that late round player who you think has talent on, you want to bet on him, go ahead, shoot your shots. What I like to do is go for running backs. I want these cheap running backs. I want to get a lot of these cheap running backs. I feel like the value here in this draft, in rookie drafts, is the cheap running backs, the 4th rounders, the UDFAs in our actual rookie drafts, the 3rd rounders, these cheap running backs who has something in their game, something in their profile that indicates that they could potentially hit. Like whether they catch passes out of the backfield, they had 1 season of solid production, they're a between the tackles grinder who runs with some burst, some good contact balance. They have a little something in their game. We will probably get 1 running back that will go to a situation and there'll be a UDFA, 6th, 7th round guy that will excel. This running back class is kind of built for that. There's a lot of these running backs that are just not very sexy, but they do have something in their profile. And the thing is, if I've collected multiple 4ths, if I've collected multiple 3rds, or I'm just being triggered for that UDFA class for that waiver wire and just stacking up on these back end running backs that people don't want and just seeing if I can catch one of them to land. If I can get more than that, cool. And when I say one of them to land, I'm not saying RB1. I'm saying some kind of return on the investment where I can flip my fourth into the next year's third, my third next year's second, or whatever, how that works. But I'm just trying to gain capital through the back end here because I can see an opportunity here at this position because we have a lot of these assets here lined up that could hit better than expected. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this class as a whole. Let me know what you think about this draft. I did things a little different here. Let me know if you like that or not. I'm going to try and mix things up a little bit, but nonetheless, we are getting ready for the NFL draft. We are getting ready for them rookie drafts. I'm going to have you guys ready, primed, knowing the market, knowing these players and everything else. Again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.